Hey all, it's me, Chris Parry from EQUITY.GURU. I'm doing some weed rants this week because I haven't looked at weed realistically, like heavily as a sector since about 2019. I'm just sort of going through all the old famous players and seeing where they're at right now. Today I'm going on Aurora. Aurora and I have had a sketchy past. Back in the day when Terry Booth was running the show and it jumped to $190 a share, and on today's share count that would have been worth $84 billion. It never got that high market cap wise, but right now you've gone from 190 plus back at the end of 2018. Today you're looking at $1.45. Whoo! Man, oh man, like that's 99.5% down from the high, and no pun intended on the high. Listen, even back early 2021, this thing was still like touching $25. To be down to $1.45 right now, that's capitulation time. Still though, you're looking at a $400 million market cap on a company that's lost 99.5% of its value in the last 4 years. Still $400 million. Okay, so let's get into some detail. Now, they've done what Canopy has also done, which is offset a bunch of assets, write a bunch of assets off, take loss after loss after loss. Here's the deal. The last quarter, you're looking at a revenue of $50.2 million, adjusted gross profit of $23.9, in line with expectations. The adjusted EBITDA was a loss of $12.9 million, which was more than expected. And analysts think that that's likely to just continue. The medical sales market is because why would you need to get a prescription when you can just go get whatever you damn well want? So medical sales is really an international thing now, or US states that still play the game that they're not really legalized. Anyway, so, rec sales are up because they've crunched a few SKUs together, launched some new products. There's too many products out there. It doesn't matter how many products Aurora puts out. They're not suddenly going to get an extra 30% of people in Canada saying, I think this is the month where I'm going to try weed. People who are going to try weed have access to weed. So where's the growth in Canadian cannabis? There isn't any. If the government comes along and says, hey, you guys, we're going to let you market it now, which they won't because they're wringing their hands together, then maybe there's some room to go out there and drop $100 million in marketing to kids in nightclubs. But as if that's going to be something the government's going to allow. So we're still going to have this marketing glut no matter what the process over the next year of reforming cannabis in Canada looks like. So where's Aurora got growth potential? It doesn't. It has none. It has absolutely nothing. They can keep churning out new products and hoping that one of them catches a wave of interest in dispensaries where you can't see the products. Like there's a screen that lists them all and you're just like, I don't know, what's good for a bad back? Sorry, boss, not allowed by the government to tell you what's good for a bad back. Maybe you'd like to try some of this gummy. It's such a stupid situation. Anyone investing in cannabis in Canada right now is either really doing their due diligence and finding gems in the rough. I like Avant as being one that I think has shown its work and is coming through the downside with a wet sail, but it's not going to be 30% growth every month. It's not going to be 30% growth every quarter. If it's 12% growth every quarter, that's going to be a positive. So do I invest in Aurora at a $440 million market cap when it's losing money every quarter? And the amount of money it's losing every quarter is up a little bit, and its revenues are like, meh. And how many other assets is it going to write down before we get done with that? These are companies that are too big to write themselves. Now, top tip, for those that think back 4 or 5 years, you'll remember that I was called an asshole by many, many, many people in the business. Well, not in the business, people in the retail investor business, for saying that Aurora was a piece of shit and you needed to get out from under it. And I'll even say this, for giving Terry Booth the ass-kicking of all ass-kickings all the way up, finally saying, all right, well, I guess this guy's made a multi-billion-dollar company. I can't really give him too much crap, even though he's like doing the Canopy thing of raising money to buy stuff because it gets a market cap boost, not because it actually brings revenue and profitability. Everyone was doing that. So we can't call Terry Booth out for that, although he was doing it more than just about anybody else. Nor can we say, hey, Aurora, there was a lot of bullshit about how great it's going to be to grow weed under glass in Edmonton, home of great traditional weed growing. We set up a mega grow by the airport in Edmonton. It's going to be great. We'll be able to send our weed across the country by just walking it across the tarmac. Great. Who can't do that, So we're all sitting here watching this thing go up by the billions in market cap, raising money, borrowing money, getting in trouble, and finally Terry Booth gets the ass kicked out the door, and everyone's like, well, he did a great thing. He made this thing a big company. All the way down since then, no matter who you put in charge of that business, it is a dumpster fire. And in the dumpster, you will find many of the products that they grow and sell. So Aurora now, we're looking at, hey, maybe now's the time. Maybe it's gone down enough. Maybe they can turn the corner. Bullshit. They haven't turned a corner that has lasted longer than a month since mid-early 2020. All right, so you've got almost a year and a half now where it's gone down, 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 a little bit up, down straight away, a little bit up, down straight away. People keep trying to make fetch a thing with Aurora. And Becky, it's not going to be a thing. Stop trying to make fetch a thing. This is a terrible company. Yes, it does really well in terms of the number of products it sells, but it doesn't make any money doing it. So, am I going to go it suddenly now in late 2022 when the stock price has gone from $9 to $1.45 over that time with almost a straight line? Is now the time? Well, you could say the same thing in 2021 when it had gone from $25 down to $9, almost a straight line. You could have said the same thing in 2020 where it had gone from $40 down to $10, almost a straight line. You could have said the same thing in early 2019 where it went from $160 down to $40, almost a straight line. So I don't know how long you got to be a supporter of this group and be thinking, well, I'll just average down, before you get the message that a 99.5% loss in 4 years is tragedy. There are too many people underwater. If this thing went to from $1.45 to $3 tomorrow, you know what's going to happen? Everyone's selling. Everyone's going to cash out. Straight back down to $1. There's no hope for this outfit. Now they're going to do the work because someone's job is to do the work. Let's reduce expenses. Let's get rid of non-performing assets. Let's increase the quality of our output. Let's streamline. Let's pay off a little debt. God's work. Good job. You're a great little earner. But you know what you're not doing? Building this thing back up to the point where the people who lost money at $190 and $150 and $100 and $70 and $50 and $30 and all along the way kept telling us online, well, there's no point selling now. I might as well just hang on until it turns around. Well, you know what it's never done? Turned around. You know what it's never going to do? Turn around. If this was a 30-cent stock right now, it would not be a buy. If it was a 28-cent stock, well, I might think about it a little bit. But it would not get above $1.50 before all the people who've been buying all the way down would start cashing in their chips and trying to get some return on the horrendous losses that they've had. Now, Terry Booth, interesting fact, has gone and started a company called Australis, which couldn't file its financials on time and has been halted. Wah, wah. Terry used to send me emails late at night back in my Stockhouse days, back when everything was going like that, or just before it was going like that, in fact, and tell me that I didn't know what I was talking about and that I was full of shit. And I think these emails were tired and emotional, you know what I mean, late at night. But we never sat down and broke bread and made friends. He went, made his money, took off, Cam Batley went, set up on an island somewhere, teaching people how to scuba dive. Everyone's happy, except the people who believed in Terry Booth, who were in there thinking it's gone from $190 to $100. It's got to be time to buy in. Got to be time to average down. It's Aurora. It's the biggest out there. What could go wrong? everything went wrong. And I don't want to pat myself on the back because my shoulder, I'm old, it doesn't really get up there anymore. But if I had a functioning shoulder, I'd be beating the shit out of my back, patting myself on the back for every single year of the past 4 where I've said, don't buy in to Canadian cannabis. Do not buy in. I see you buying in. Stop buying in. I'll turn this car around. So now here we are. It is mid-2022, mid to late. And Aurora is down. If I look at the last 3 months, it's gone from $2 to $2.50. When some analysts out there said, oh, we think $2.74 is a good price. Up it went. People bought in. People got sucked again. And then, booyah, back down to $1.44. Look, man, I can't be your dad. I can't sit there and be an angel on your shoulder and say, you stop making bad decisions. You got to just believe me. I've been saying it for 4 years, and I've been right for 4 years. I don't make any money on cannabis anymore because I can't lead people to buying cannabis companies, with very few exceptions, and expect to actually have a business in 2 months, right? My business operates on the fact that if my readers and viewers make money, people find it much more compelling to be sponsors of my site, to buy marketing programs. So I can't just go out there and say, thank you for your cash. Hey, buy Aurora. It's great, because I won't have a business in 2 months. So I got out of the cannabis business, even though I was making legit millions. I got out of the business because it would have been an ex-business within 6 months if I hadn't told people the truth that Canadian cannabis structurally, infrastructurally, cannot make money. It has to capitulate to the point where 300 growers and distributors shrink down to about 17. Then you've got an industry. But there's no other. Imagine if there were 300 manufacturers of electric cars. How big do you think Tesla would be? Imagine if those 300 were shrinking the price every month to try and get an edge. You'd be buying Teslas on the street for $6,000 a piece, right? There's no industry in the world where this many people are creating products where there is any sort of sector-wide increase. It just doesn't work. Globally, maybe, but not in Canada. In Canada, we've got 3 kinds of ketchup. We've got 4 kinds of salad dressing, other than the guy selling it at the farmer's market. There's like 6 car companies you can buy. Like, honestly, 300 weed growers? Sure, let's invest in that. Pick which one's going to be good. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. Like, you got to look at this business as a whole. You got to look at the track record that is showing you loss after loss after loss after loss. And how are these losses managing to be paid for? With all the millions that were raised when things were going good. It's expensive money now because debt has to be repaid with interest rates growing up, and there's nowhere to expand. You can't expand Canadian cannabis in Canada. You can buy it anywhere, right? There's more dispensaries out there than there are corner stores. There's no shortage of places to buy weed, including online. And yet, there's no growth. What does that tell you? It tells you people who drink are still drinking. It tells you people who smoke were getting their smoke anyway. Now they can just do it legally and still illegally. Really, if you wanted to increase the cannabis market, you could clamp down on the black market. That's really the only way it's going to happen. Or you convert Granny into a consumer of products that are cannabis-based but not threatening. Granny don't want a dab. Granny will have beverage. Granny would have toast with CBD in it. Granny would have a pill that makes her back better. But we can't make one of those because the government doesn't want you to be able to say, this will make your back feel better. We can't make one of those because the government doesn't want products that it hasn't already approved and said kids will not use. So we're stuck in this place where for years, this industry will continue to drop. And Aurora will drop harder than anybody because it's still bigger than most and it does not have the juice to turn it around. Lastly, those who think, like they think with Canopy, that when the US opens up, in will go Aurora and go out there and make its money in the US market. I ain't going to do that. How many foreign companies came into Canada? You had Bedrocan for a minute and a half before they got the rug pulled out from under them by Tweed/Canopy. Who else? Which foreign companies are doing great business in Canada? None, because we don't want foreign companies. We got enough Canadian companies. Imagine if California companies really started rolling over the border with their weed. It ain't going to happen. So what is the growth prospect for Canadian weed? Government's got to radically change its tune. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Trudeau doesn't have the juice to be able to make cannabis be something that's sold in corner stores. And so he's going to lose out to other countries in the world where you can do that. Canada had first mover advantage in weed. It could have exported it to the world in a heartbeat. But it was so intent on it's going to be medical only. So if you're going to do a medical grow, you've got to spend $28 million on security and high standards and HVAC. And dude, it's weed. You grow it in a ditch. We should have been doing that from the outset, and this thing would have been a monster export industry. But we screwed it up because of the hand wringers, because of the fainting couch users. And Aurora, unfortunately, along with Canopy and Afria and a bunch of others, just sucked up all the money, blew it on shiny stuff, and didn't do anything towards actually growing out the business. So that's my rant for today. Imagine if I'd been drinking. Whew. All right, if you like this, hit the subscribe button if you're watching it on YouTube. If not, follow me on Twitter. Chris Parry is the name. EQUITY.GURU, D-O-T spelt out, is also worth following. And hey, if you're all in on Aurora and you think it's going to do real great, I would love to hear from you in the comments, because let's be honest, we all love pointing at people and laughing.